Hello, welcome to West Ham Grumble on Irons United with me, Alf Gasparo. So what a week it's been in the West Ham world. First of all, let's talk London Stadium. Yes, West Ham went to court this week against E20, the landlords, and they came out victorious. Yeah, bit of a limp affair, really, that court case, wasn't it? You know, the landlords caved in pretty much as soon as they got there. And so this means that there's going to be extra capacity now at the London Stadium, up to 60,000, I believe. Now, that could even rise to 63, 66,000 in time, whenever that is. But the interesting thing here is now, what will the club do with this extra capacity? Are they just going to offer match day tickets to anybody who wants to go to a Premier League game, you would have thought? Or are they going to offer these extra seats to fans who are actually on the season ticket waiting list, and offer that at a discounted rate or as a pro rata price, if you like, you know, for the games that have already been played? If it were me, I would say, right, whoever's on the waiting list, these seats automatically go to the waiting list. And then, you know, if we've however many games that are left in the season, you know, home games, that's how much they pay as a percentage of the total value of those seats. So let's say if they're worth £400, you know, for whatever it is, they would pay something like 80% of that fee. I think that's actually, you know, a fair way to do it, as opposed just to offering it out onto the open market and you can let anybody come into it. Now, the argument is that, well, anybody could be on that waiting list, and not necessarily West Ham fans, of course. I know, but the chances are that most people on that waiting list really are going to be West Ham fans, you would have thought. Anyway, so it'd be interesting to see what happens, and it'd be interesting to see how many seats, when these seats actually become available, and how many of them are taken up initially. And also, you know, what the long-term plan is for the rest of the season. Now, obviously, next season, there'll all be season tickets allocation, I'm sure. So, what else has been happening in the West Ham world? Well, still lots of upset within the ranks, isn't there? You know, we've got the Declan Rice saga that's still ongoing, really. You know, is he being paid effectively for his contribution to the team? I certainly don't think so. The way it's dragged on hasn't really, you know, been really good for the club PR, really good for his PR, or for the, you know, the blood pressure of many of the fans either, you would imagine. Now, the problem with this, and I'll get onto Arnautovic in a moment as well, but the problem with this scenario with Rice is that it's opened up the window, if you like. It's opened up the floodgates for any other team to come in and be interested in him and say, do you know what, we'll pay you 50 grand a week, we'll pay you 100 grand a week or whatever, because obviously you're not getting it there. And you can imagine what's happening in the background, you know, the agents going like this, and, you know, the family members twittering away as well. And you can see at some point, if this isn't resolved, or if it isn't resolved properly at West Ham, then his head's going to be turned, and, you know, he'll probably, you know, bugger off, you know, in January, who knows. But, you know, certainly at the end of the season, even if it is resolved up to, and he gets, I don't know, 40, 50 grand a week, that's not to say that he's still a bit hacked off, and then, you know, the Man Cities of this world or the Man Uniteds might come in and say, do you know what, we really like this kid, we're going to put our, you know, money, invest in him, and he's going to come to our club. I wouldn't be surprised. And that's the problem this kind of thing creates within a team. It creates upset within the squad, but it also creates uncertainty over a player's future. Now, on the Rice affair, I would actually say, not because I'm a West Ham fan, and we're all West Ham fans, of course, not because we're West Ham fans and we really want him to stay at the club. If we're just talking about him as an individual, he's a kid, okay? He's still learning his trade. If he goes to a big club, and that's not to say he won't be successful at a big club, but if he goes to a big club, then you know, he's not guaranteed of getting first team football. In fact, the chances are he won't play week in, week out. Whereas with West Ham, he will. He will almost certainly play week in, week out. And that's only going to be better for his future. Now, consider this. If he stays at West Ham for the next 3 or 4 years, for example, he signs a good deal. He's on 50 grand a week. He's, you know, there for 3 or 4 years, and he just keeps on developing and improving the way he is. Just think what an awesome talent he's going to be at 23, 24 years old. And then if the big teams come in then, you know, guess how much he's going to be worth then. So I think West Ham have got to look to the future here and be less short-sighted and look at the long-term gain here. You know, if we are talking about, you know, the value of a player, let's hold on to him. Let's give him what he's worth right now, because he is worth it. Let's face it, he's consistently being our best player now. Give him what he's worth, and then just keep him happy, and then let's just settle things down in the squad. Okay, let's move on to Arnautovic now. Blimey, what a week it's been for this as well. Okay, so look, everybody's been away on international duty. Oh, well, not everybody, but you know, the teams, players have, and so was he. You know, he was probed again at the end of the game. You know, are you going to stay at West Ham effectively? You know, what? You know, you're happy there. You're going to go to the big, you know, Man United or whoever's sniffing around. And he's kind of playing it all down, saying, no, it's all bullshit, it's all rubbish, you know, da da da. But listen, there's no smoke without fire. Or, you know, he's probably hacked off anyway. Now, he's a right moody git anyway. We know that. And that's probably why we love him as well. But he's our most effective player. You know, along with Rice, you know, those are the two who are really week in, week out. They are producing, you know, quality, or, you know, leading the team and, you know, and pulling the team along. He's not happy. He's not happy with the way probably the rest of the team have been performing, possibly the investment over the last couple of years. Whatever it is, you know, it's not that great. Then also, you know, you factor in that he's not really happy with way some other players are being offered contracts, how much they're being paid. Hernandez, how much he's being paid, all this kind of stuff, and he hasn't been paid as much. And you got to think, well, actually, this is undoubtedly going to cause, you know, problems within the ranks. You know, put in agents, put in, you know, Gobby brothers, you know, all that kind of stuff. And the attention that he was getting in the summer, let's not forget it. He was getting in the summer from the other teams as well. They were looking at him. And, you know, I was saying at the time that I'd be surprised if he even stays here. In fact, I was surprised that he stayed with us. But, you know, probably deals fell through at the last minute, and who knows. But he stayed with us, and he's still, you know, a passionate West Ham player, and that's what we love about him. But is he going to stay? This is the problem. You know, if the rumours might start building, there's obviously problems with the squad. There's problems with uneven pay or uneven performances, and that's obviously going to cause issues. We've still got Hernandez, who's not really firing all cylinders, but he's getting a lot of money. Anderson is still inconsistent. You know, the Nasri affair, you know, whether this comes off, whether this is a realistic target for Pellegrini or not, is kind of irrelevant. What is relevant is how much they're willing to pay for a player who's suspended and who's not match fit. And he won't be match fit for, you know, a few months. And he, you know, he hasn't got a youth on his side either. So that you fully understand why Arnautovic think, oh, you're going to pay this guy 80 grand, and you know you're quibbling over what you're going to pay me, who I deliver week in, week out. So I would not be surprised if Arnautovic goes, actually, if this isn't resolved, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, the other teams, you know, the other big teams, or in Europe, you know, they may say, right, here's a player who has been playing in a mediocre team for a couple of years now, and he's the one who's actually given them any kind of success. Let's consider what he can do in our team when he's got so much support. Now, that's not to say that Arnautovic is, you know, completely blameless here as well. And yes, he does fluff his lines and he misses opportunities and he always demands the ball and all that kind of stuff. We know that. He is a bit of a git as well. We know that. But he is the one who pretty much saved our season last season, and he is the one who has still, you know, being that creative spark up front to, you know, get us a result or get us some kind of chance of even a draw, getting something out of a game. Anyway, you know, so there's lots of people in the squad who think Pellegrini's got a lot of work to do. The club, Sullivan, Gold, you know, Brady, they've got a lot of work to do behind the scenes to, you know, get everything sorted out here. And, you know, whoever they're targeting for January, because they are targeting other players in January, let's see who they bring in and let's see who goes out more importantly. I'm certainly hoping we don't lose Rice, and I'm certainly hoping we don't lose Arnautovic, but don't know, I think it's on the cards here a little bit. Anyway, let's look forward to this coming Saturday against Man City. Oh, God, yes, they're coming to town. Yes, the citizens are in town, and I really want to say that, you know, we got a good chance against them. I really want to say that we can put up a good fight. But I think that's all we can hope for, is put up a good fight. You know, last season it was 4-1 under Moyes, and it was a terrible, terrible performance. I'm sure you'll all agree. Virtually the whole stadium was up in arms over the whole thing. And, you know, I was one of those two. I thought it was a terrible performance. However, this season, I'm sure it'll be a lot better. Now, let's forget, you know, there's going to be a lot of factors at play here. Pellegrini, ex-Man City manager, you know, all that, you know, got a bit of a point to prove as well, you know, against them, their owners, you know, their fans as well. But, you know, we've also got a rebound as well. You know, we thought we were having a bit of a, you know, a recovery, you know, but then it's kind of been a little peak, and then, you know, we've leveled out again. So I think, you know, we've had the international break. It probably came at the wrong time. We needed a little bit more than that, and we need to build a bit more momentum. And possibly Man City is the worst team to play right now for this bit of momentum. You would agree? Possibly so. But let's have a bit of fight, bit of vim and vigour. Let's get at them. Close down the space, stop them playing. You don't have to work overtime. You know, there's no time for Arnautovic strops. There's no time for arguing. There's no time for lacking concentration at the back. Okay? Everybody needs to be on top of their game, above and beyond their game to get anything out of this game. Anyway, so I think, at best, 2-2. I'm fearing a 3-1 defeat. I never, ever predict a defeat. Never. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about an Arnautovic saga, the Nasri saga, Rice, Pellegrini, West Ham, E20, the London Stadium. Whatever you want to comment about, put it down there. Right, I'll be at the game on Saturday, by the way. We'll all be hanging out at the Style Space before the game. You know, for the supporters club, we'll be there. Maybe I'll see you there as well. And come and say hello if you do. And if you don't want to say hello, then don't. Right, okay. Catch you on the next West Ham Grumble, whenever that is. Up the hammers.